All right, we are live. Happy Saturday, everyone. For most everyone, might be Sunday for some folks, but thanks so much for joining the Happy Wife School show live. And I look forward to getting into our topic today. I'm answering a question that I got, so we'll get into that in a moment. But before we do that, just a couple reminders. As always at the beginning, please go check out my colleague's YouTube channel, The Autoimmune Expert. Josie is incredible and teaches people how to permanently heal from autoimmune diseases and chronic illnesses by working on the emotional state. So if you or someone you know suffers from something like fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome or thyroid conditions that are autoimmune related, or chronic illness like depression or anxiety or chronic pain, you want to go check out The Autoimmune Expert. You can find the link in the description below. And if you like to listen to the Happy Wife School show, the long format that I do on Saturdays and podcast format, please go give me a follow on Apple or Spotify and give it a rating so it can find more people that way. And with that being said, I'm going to pop over to the chat, make sure I'm coming through all right, you guys can hear me, and then we will jump into our topic today. Thank you so much, Phil, loud and clear. And thank you so much, as always, to Steve and Phil for being here and being excellent moderators in the chat on Saturdays, keeping the trolls away and keeping the chat a constructive place to be. And nice to have you, Colleen, and the other ladies joining the show today. So awesome to have you guys here, Monica, and seeing who else. We got Luke here today, Troy Dunn. Nice to have you guys, longtime supporters of the show, which is just so appreciated. I will hop over to the chat at the end of the show to say hello, to answer some questions, read through some comments. Phil will also send me some questions at the end of the show to answer. So if you have a question for me, put it in the chat. Phil will collect that and send that to me, and then I'll pick a couple to answer. And yeah, with that being said, let's get into the topic. So this is a Q&A today. I've been getting some great questions. So that gives the questions that get sent in give me fresh ideas of how to talk about different parts of my message about marriage, about women, about good men. So today I'm answering a very simple question that I got that led to some interesting takes that I'm excited to talk about today. So the question that I'm answering is, can you help me determine if my girlfriend of 10 years and I should get married? Can you help me determine if my girlfriend of 10 years and I should get married? So I'm taking this question as a jumping off point to talk about the message and principles I teach here at the Happy Wife School show. And, you know, a little different. My audience is primarily married people and geared towards marriage, but I enjoy being able to talk about other issues single people might have, or people in long-term committed relationships like this. And what was interesting about getting into the perspective I'm going to talk about today is I realized so much of what I'm going to talk about applies to us as women, whether we are married, whether we're single, whether we're in a long-term committed relationship. So for those women listening, you want to be able to hear what I'm going to talk about today as another deeper dive to look at yourself and see these behaviors and shortcomings that we have, because that's how we can outgrow them and overcome them and better ourselves. And for good men listening who are married or not married, we'll see what I'm going to talk about in your relationship and for yourself. So it really can apply to everyone, but I like the challenge of talking about things that might fit outside the context of marriage. So for the question of, can you help me determine if my girlfriend of 10 years and I should get married, assuming you are a good man asking this question, here is my advice to you. No, you should not. If you haven't gotten married after being together for 10 years, there are fundamental problems in your relationship. I'm going to take the angle that if your girlfriend hasn't come to you in 10 years wanting to get married or doing what women so often do, pushing you to get married, but she hasn't come to you to get married in 10 years that you've been together in a long-term relationship, it means she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to get married. She, like many women, feel the institution of marriage is a prison sentence, and she would feel trapped in marriage. Because with a marriage comes an increased responsibility of emotional, mental, financial responsibilities that she doesn't want to take on. And most importantly, she wants the ability to run out the door whenever she wants, as soon as things get hard, so that she can escape. That coming from that angle, if she hasn't come to you in 10 years wanting to get married, it means there's no emotional commitment that she has made to you or the relationship. And this is where, for us as women, we have to realize, and I had to see this for myself, I share with you guys when I plan my videos, it shakes things up for me, that I have to see it from a new angle or in a deeper way in myself, to see that as women, married or not married, we do not make an emotional commitment. And so if you're in a long-term relationship and she's not emotionally committed, getting married isn't going to help that. It's going to make matters much, much worse. Sadly, no woman makes an emotional commitment, like I said, even married women, because marriage isn't anything that we ever think through. It's not anything that we ever make a true, conscious, thought out choice about. It's the next thing that we need to check off our list of things to be happy, or what we think we're supposed to do or should do in life. And for us as women, marriage is very much what can we get out of it, not what do I need to put in it. We think that a marriage is just supposed to work out. It's just supposed to happen. And there's never any conscious thought or education for us as women that it takes hard work to make a marriage successful, to make it healthy and thriving and a place where we can really thrive and grow and learn and get to know ourselves. We say, what can I get out of it? So we never think about, you mean I have to work on my behaviors? I have to be self-aware? I have to keep growing and getting better as a person? I have to be collaborative? I have to compromise with another person and think of another person and what's important to them? These are not things that we think of as women, and then feel very put out and burdened and resentful of the responsibility that comes with being a wife, of the responsibility that comes with a marriage. It's something that I never knew walking into getting married, and never would have known had I not met my mentor and had a mirror held up to see myself. Now I very much understand that in the role of being a wife and in the role of being married, it is a constant path of having to look at myself, of having to uncover limitations in myself, shortcomings in myself, and embracing that as the way, because that's how I continue to outgrow my woman ways that I talk about on the channel, and really find the true nature of myself and be able to bring that into my relationship and share that with my husband. It doesn't happen any other way. And that's not anything we ever think we're going to have to do and have to be on top of ourselves as women. And it's not, if we knew that, we want nothing to do with it. I think God was very wise in how he had me find this path in my life, because if I had known going into marriage what it was actually going to be, what I was actually going to need to look at and work on in myself, I don't know that I would have ever taken that step. If I had known this was going to be my path, I don't know that I would have. So God was very wise to put my mentor on my path after I had gotten married, so that I would walk down this path and learn, no, marriage really is about, it's really a personal growth journey for both women and men, just from different angles, but certainly as a woman having to uncover all these crazy woman ways we have. I don't know that I would have stepped into it. And it really boils down to our selfishness. That's what gets in our way of being able to make an emotional commitment and consider another and be in marriage for the right reasons, is that it's our selfishness and our inability to understand that there's someone else in the equation, that there's someone else we need to think about. There's someone else that we need to consider. For us, it's just how I want it, the way I want it, when I want it, and how I want it done. And we can't see beyond that. So coming back to this question and the emotional commitment that I'm assuming the woman that this man is with is not willing to make in being married, and then that shows a major lack of emotional commitment in the relationship, is really that society has it totally opposite. Society tells us it's men that don't want to commit, that women are the nurturing ones, the ones that are there for everyone and take care of everyone and are fully invested and all in the relationship, and men are aloof and emotionally unavailable, not all in. And it's really backwards. We really have it backwards, because commitment provides stability, predictability, long-term vision and goals, collaboration. That's the very nature of a good man. A good man is predictable, stable, has long-term vision, thrives in collaboration and compromise, and therefore is very willing to make a commitment, to get married. It's something he truly wants to do because he loves the woman he's with and he wants to build and share a life with her. That's their nature. So for us as women, it's a projection onto men that they don't want to commit. Our nature as women is we live in an emotional storm on the inside of us. We live in chaos. We live in drama. And we thrive in that because it allows us to create and hold on to our different victim stories of putting the blame outside of us for why we are the way we are, why our lives are the way we are. So we have something to point at when it doesn't work out. Whether married or not married, as women, we want a way out. We have back doors. We live on the fence with 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And we live in an inner world of, let me see how it goes. Let me see how it goes. It depends. It depends on whether my needs are being met, whether he's making me feel loved, whether he's providing the life that I expected. And if not, we have no problem running. That's why I think the statistic, and I've done several videos on this, I think the statistic is something like 70% to 80% of divorces are initiated by women. And that's why we keep our options open. Whereas a good man, because of his nature of just going all in and being committed, is very, very, very difficult for him to walk away from a marriage. He's gone all in. He's made the emotional investment. That's why I don't hear from men often, should I stay or should I go? I most often hear from men, it's not an option for me to leave. What do I need to do to get her to re-engage in the relationship, get her to change and want to be happy and make this marriage work? But as women, we'll duck out very quickly because we are not committed. And then we can't work through the problems in the relationship because we're not invested to work through the problems, and we're living in victim and blaming our husband or significant other for the problems in the relationship. And we're not invested. Whereas a good man is invested. Let's work through this. And a woman's not invested. So we just totally clash and miss each other. And feel like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for these problems and that this is what marriage was going to look like. And feel that our marriages are disposable. So where I want to go in answering this question is we're going to get into 10 reasons not to marry your girlfriend when you've been together 10 plus years. 10 reasons not to marry your girlfriend when you have been together 10 plus years. This is answering the question I got, can you help me determine if I should marry my girlfriend of 10 years? And coming from the angle, assuming that she hasn't come to him wanting to get married, and seeing, helping this person and others listening who this applies to, see the reality of the relationship. So the basis of my answer and the basis of this list is for good men to know that as women, we don't want to make an emotional commitment to the relationship. We don't want to make an emotional commitment to the relationship. So whether you're in a long-term relationship, whether you are married, I had to realize, oh my gosh, the issues are the same. These issues are the same. So also for the women who are married listening, I had to see how much of this that I have in me, and just learning and continuing to learn and grow in myself and flesh out the things that will prevent me from continuing to have a healthy, loving, long-term committed marriage, and seeing the little pockets of limitations that are still in me. So for the married women listening, don't think, oh, I'm already married, so this doesn't apply. No, you want to see, how does it? How do you have these secret thoughts or secret ways of which you stay on the fence and have back doors so that you can shine the light on them, shut the back doors, get off the fence, and be all in to your marriage? Because that's really what this list is about, is our desire to stay on the fence, to have back doors, and always be waiting to see, is the man going to fulfill our expectations? Is he going to make me feel loved enough? Is he going to meet my needs? Am I going to be financially secure? And waiting to see how it turns out instead of emotionally committing, which means I'm in it for the long haul, better or worse. No matter what happens, I am here. And that's the step that we need to take as women for a marriage to be successful or a relationship to be successful, is to make that emotional commitment and be all in for the long haul and shut our back doors. And for any man who's in this situation and not married and wondering after so many years, should we get married? Don't be naive. Use this list as a way to see the reality of your relationship. Because if this is who she is now, and you push her into marriage, it's going to be a disaster. So 10 reasons not to marry your girlfriend after 10 years. Number 1. Women don't want to get married because they don't want to be a wife. Women do not want to be a wife. We see wife as a 4-letter word, and it's a trigger word that threatens our independence because of the feminist culture that we live in and indoctrination into feminism. In our culture, wife has become a derogatory role that requires submission to a man, which is what we use as women to say that's a threat to our independence, a threat to who we are and our own individuality. So if you get married and you've been together for 10 years, you need to know she's going to resent being a wife. She's going to blame you for making her get married and blame you for the problems and for her experience as a wife and being married. The second reason not to marry your girlfriend after 10 plus years. Number 2, if you are not financially secure and stable, there is no cash out value to her. Women get married for what can I get out of it? So if you've been together 10 years, it means she sees no, and you aren't financially secure and stable, she sees no reason to get married because she'll get nothing out of it. Guaranteed, if you had lots of money and lots of assets, she would have roped you into marrying her a long time ago. And also on the flip side, on the other side of the coin, if she has money and assets, she doesn't want to get married because then she would have to share them or risk them through being married. Number 3, she's very selfish and self-centered. She's only thinking of herself and not getting married and what she doesn't want to lose or risk. There's no consideration of you or what's important to you or what you're looking for in a relationship and making a commitment. Number 4 of why you don't want to get married to your girlfriend after being together 10 plus years. You need to know that not getting married is her back door to not have to make a commitment. By not getting married, she can pack up and leave when she wants with minimal disruption to her life. Number 5, she never has to feel an obligation to care for you or be financially responsible if you get sick or something happens to you. By not getting married, she can bail. So if you get sick, if something happens, if you lose your job or lose your business, it makes it really easy for her to bail and not have to step up and take on the responsibility of caring for you and being there in sickness and in health. Number 6, you want to recognize if you've been together 10 years and she's not coming to you to get married and you're still wondering, should I marry her? What it's showing in the truth of that, number 6, she's emasculated you so much and weakened you so much, you can't see the truth of the relationship. Can't see the truth of her selfishness or what's the word I want to look for? Truth of her selfishness or not good intentions of being in the relationship. Because that's what happens for a good man when he's been emasculated and weak and he can't see the reality. That's part of my channel being the red pill for women, is helping us as women to wake up to how we're showing up in relationships with good men, but also helping good men wake up to what they're trapped in, almost like a spell in their marriage or relationship, so they can wake up as well and see the reality. Because when he's in that place of being emasculated and can't see the truth of the relationship, there's no awareness of what's happening, and he believes in the gaslighting that he's the problem. And it's a cycle he can't get out of it without the right context to wake him up. So if she hasn't wanted to get married after 10 years, that's a sign that she doesn't feel safe and confident to marry you, because of who she's created you to be as a weak man through the emasculation. Number 7 of why you shouldn't marry your girlfriend after 10 years in a relationship. Number 7, if you're past childbearing age and she can't have children, she sees no reason to get married. Women use children and having children to make sure that she and the children are taken care of. So again, without children in the picture, there's no point. She sees no point in getting married because, again, she's not seeing what she can get out of it. There's no reason for it. On the other side of the coin, if she doesn't want children, again, another reason not to get married. And number 8, if she hasn't married you after 10 years, she doesn't really love you. If she hasn't married you after 10 years, she doesn't really love you. It means the relationship is just one of convenience. And she doesn't want to have to start over. So she stays, but she doesn't want to get married. So it's likely that you're both living as roommates and she's just playing house. Number 9 of why you shouldn't marry your girlfriend after 10 years. She's with you because she doesn't want to end up alone. So this is another reason why she stays, in addition to it just being one of convenience and not wanting to start over. Another reason she stays is because she doesn't want to end up alone. She's not staying for you or a commitment in the relationship. As women, we really, really, really do not want to be alone. And we don't want to get old and be alone. So we would rather be in a relationship that we don't really care about, or someone we don't really love and care about, because we don't want to be alone. That's how terrifying it is to us. And number 10 of why you should not marry your girlfriend you've been with for 10 years. Number 10, she wants to keep her options open to see if something better comes along. So she doesn't want to go all in and make a commitment because she has her eyes out for something better or another life that just hasn't come along yet. So these are the reasons that you should not get married to your girlfriend after 10 years, because if this is her lack of commitment in her perspective, getting married or pushing her to get married is going to be a nightmare. So you do not want to step into that. So hey, there's some commotion out in the office. I got a little distracted. We don't usually have people walk in on a Saturday, and some people came in. So anyhow, pardon me. I want to talk after this a little bit to the married women, because if you're listening to this list, it can be easy to think, well, like I said a little bit before, that's not me. But in order to start to solve the issues and challenges you have in your marriage, we have to come back to remembering that when we are married to a good man, that as women, we are the problem. We are the problem with a good man, because a good man is committed. All he wants is for us to be happy, kind, caring. When he decided to get married, he went all in. And he wants the marriage to work. As a good man, he's a problem solver. He wants to talk about the issues, put them on the table, come up with a solution, and figure it out. And we have to recognize we are the problem, because we don't want to take responsibility for our part and role in the issues and how we show up to emasculate a man, gaslight him, take control, be the one that needs to be in control, and we are deeply unhappy in ourselves. We don't feel good about who we are. We don't like ourselves. And rather than being able to face that and expose us, we put that onto our husbands as he's who made us feel this way. It's he's not doing enough to make me feel loved. I'm the only one putting something into a relationship. All the stories that we create in our mind and create from being a victim that then over time wears a good man down, and he will either disengage from the relationship or react. And then we can use how he reacts or shows up as more ways to point the finger and say, look at who he is. So one of the angles we have to see ourselves as the problem, and why I want married women to let this list in too, just as I had to do, and where the pockets of this still left in me that I can get and clean up and let go of, is one of the ways we have to see that we are the problem is we haven't made an emotional commitment. We live on the fence. We question our decision to stay. And we are very selfish and entitled to our sense of happiness. What we don't want to let in as women is that good men feel everything. Good men feel everything. We think in our facade, so say that in our woman ways of being controlling, bitchy, emasculating, miserable, blaming them, a lot of us as women can put a facade on and cover that up. Not being all in, not being committed, having back doors open, living on the fence, questioning, should I be here or not? We can put a facade on and cover that up, and we think we're fooling our husbands. You're not. They feel it. So if you live and sit on the fence in your marriage, if you have back doors open, your husband feels it. He might not be able to put his finger on it totally, and good men have a very difficult time letting in and seeing the reality of how we show up as women, because it's heartbreaking to them, because it's not any part of their nature. So they make excuses for us, but they feel it. He feels you not all in. He doesn't feel that he can trust you, that you're going to be there through the hard times. And you also have to know, living on the fence, having back doors open, not making an emotional commitment, and meaning I'm in it for the long haul no matter what, through the ups and downs, through sickness and health. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. There's no other options for me. I've got my blinders on. The back doors are closed. There's no fence. Tore down the fence. When we don't do that for ourselves, we feel really bad about ourselves. Doesn't feel good to not be all in, which then fuels the destructive behaviors that we have in a marriage and a relationship with a good man. So I encourage you to shine the light on what are the fantasies you keep secret to yourself of some other life out there for you, or the secret back doors you hold on to. If, X, Y, and Z happened, I would leave. Or looking for your out. You want to shine the light on what are the ways you are not all in and committed in your marriage, because A, your husband feels it and he can't trust you. And two, or B, in that you don't feel good about yourself, and it's feeding and fueling your unhappiness in yourself that then perpetuates your destructive behaviors in the relationship. So I hope that even though in the topic today being more geared towards someone who is not married and the issues he might have with a woman not being married, I hope you can take the flashlight out and see these things within yourself to give you another path and another way to better yourself and strengthen your marriage, and begin to show yourself and your husband that he can trust you, you can trust you, and that you can follow through. So that's what I have for today. I want to remind you all of the courses that I offer, that if you are a woman and you struggle with the things that I talk about in the woman ways and want a way to live in camp, take responsibility, close your back doors, and learn to feel good about yourself and have a healthy relationship with yourself, you want to go check out my happiness program, and you can find the link in the description below. And if you're a good man who listens to my channel and tunes in, I have a course for good men that teaches you how to see the reality of how your wife operates in a marriage so that you can navigate it in a healthy way for yourself and rebuild your strength and confidence. It is also an incredible course for men who have gone through a divorce or are in the throes of a separation or divorce, to be able to rebuild and understand what happened and continue to strengthen yourself even after a marriage. So just want to encourage you guys to go check those out. Again, the links are in the description below. Consider subscribing if you're not already. Please like this video so more people find it, and share it if you know anyone that this topic and the things I talked about could help. So thank you guys so much. I'm going to take a sip of water, pop over to the chat, see what's going on there, and Phil's going to send me some questions to answer. All right, let's see. Oh, it looks like, nope, I didn't. It's right there. Oh, good. All right. Yeah. I like that, Kemba. Just a reminder to all the good men, you are appreciated. Patriot Defender, congratulations, Karen, on 203,000 subscribers. Oh, thank you so much. It's very exciting, the growth of the channel. Never, ever 2 years ago did I imagine we would get to 200,000. So that is wonderful. And thank you guys for that. Couldn't happen without you. Holly Austin, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for your comment. Great stuff as always. You're welcome. Thank you for being a brave and courageous woman that tunes in to the show. I appreciate your comments in the chat during the live show, and also the comments you make on the videos when you can't be here or you have something else to add. They're always so thoughtful, and it's very courageous and brave to be vulnerable and share your own experience of yourself as a woman and what you're overcoming. So I appreciate that so much always. Thank you. All right, Phil says questions. Oh, all right, Phil sent some questions. So I'm going to go ahead over there for a moment and see what we've got. Thank you guys for your patience as I go in between the technology. Oh, that's a good question. Are women thank you, Chris. Are women inherently selfish because they never want to be held accountable for their role in a destroyed relationship? True. I'd say they're two separate issues. And of course, they can be symbiotic and feed into each other for sure. True. We don't, as women, we do not want to be held accountable for anything, especially any role in the destruction of a relationship. Side note, I saw I don't know, it's probably a snippet on YouTube or something like that, where Jennifer Lopez was recently interviewed about why she thinks her marriages, I think she's had like 5 marriages or something like that, have failed. And her answer was because the men that I was with couldn't love me enough, or something to that matter. And what I would teach if Jennifer Lopez was open to my message and sought my help is that she's the common denominator in her relationships. That out of 5 different marriages to 5 different men. Again, I don't quote me on that, but something like that. To five marriages to 5 different men, there was only one constant, and that was Jennifer Lopez. So I would teach her and show her to see, what is it about you that the marriage has failed? What don't you want to see about yourself? And she would run because we don't want to be accountable for any of our contribution to a relationship that's been destroyed. So that's one end of the coin. And our inherent selfishness, I have a different theory in that as women, we want to be taken care of. As women, we want to be taken care of. So sometimes I don't talk about it as much in the channel, not to confuse anyone, because I talk about camp victim and camp take responsibility. Another camp that is opposite of camp take responsibility or take accountability is camp want to be taken care of. And that's where we live as women, is wanting others to provide us the things that we are not willing to provide ourselves. And that's where our selfishness comes from, because it always comes down to me and what do I need in living in this universe of one, of I need others to take care of me and meet my needs because I won't do them for myself. And so that's a kind of a simple answer to that from my perspective that we could easily tease out in a longer episode. But I believe our inherent selfishness really comes down to our want to be taken care of and our inability or unwillingness to take accountability, take responsibility, and provide ourselves with the things that we've always wanted a man to give to us or another to give to us, because we don't value ourselves enough to care for and provide those things to ourselves. And then that is then what feeds into not wanting to be held accountable, not wanting to take responsibility, because wanting to be taken care of is the antithesis of taking responsibility. So Jojo, thank you for your comment. Thank you, Karen. We benefit each week from your insight. And guys, give me a second. There's another question I don't quite understand. I just need to see if I can answer it on the spot. So thanks for your patience. Yeah, I don't understand. I appreciate, Phil, too, the definition that you sent with this question on hedonic adaptation. I won't speak to that because I'm not familiar with it. I try to stick to the things that are within the container and perspectives of what I talk about, and like to, if I'm going to talk on a different philosophy, to have time to research it and understand it so I can contrast it or compare it to what I talk about and teach about. So I'm going to skip that question, but thank you. All right. Headed back over to the chat for a moment, guys, and then I'm going to wrap up. Oh my gosh, the chat is not loading. Let's see. Oh, that's why I had it on the wrong one. All right. Yeah, you're welcome, Patriot Defender. He said, thank you for the explanation. All right. Yeah, 5 marriages. Yeah, that's great, Mike ADHD. 5 marriages. What a huge red flag. It sure is. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for today, but I hope everybody has a great and safe rest of your weekend. And thanks so much for being here today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. All right, bye.